We all know someone who cranks the TV up way too loud or is always asking, "What did you say?" But have you ever stopped to think that maybe hearing loss isn't just about your ears? What if it's actually a silent risk to your brain? Today, we're going to dive into the hidden dangers of hearing loss and why this is a conversation we all really need to be having.
So let's start with a question that kind of flips this whole topic on its head. What if hearing aids weren't just about making sounds louder for your ears, but were actually a critical tool for keeping your brain healthy? Stick with me because that's exactly where the science is pointing.
And look, this is no small thing. A huge study commissioned by the National Council on Aging found this pretty startling connection. It shows that when we let hearing loss go untreated, it's like a ripple effect that can seriously impact our mental and emotional well-being. We're talking depression, anxiety, things that change how we live our lives. The stakes are just so much higher than we thought. Okay, but before we get any deeper into that brain connection, we really need to get a handle on the condition itself. Because for millions of people, hearing loss isn't something that happens overnight. It's more like a slow, gradual fade that can be incredibly easy to miss. All right, so the fancy medical term for this is presbycusis. And don't worry, I'll say it again. That's presbycusis. It's caused by gradual damage to the really delicate parts of our inner ear, and it is unbelievably common, affecting a mind-blowing two-thirds of Americans over the age of 70. Now, what's really interesting here is how normal these signs seem. Do any of these ring a bell? Thinking people are mumbling all the time, struggling to keep up in a group conversation, or, oh yeah, that constant battle over the TV remote. These aren't just little quirks. They are the classic early signs of presbycusis. And, the reason it's so sneaky is that you don't lose all the sounds at once. The first things to go are usually the high-pitched, high-frequency sounds. So you can still hear a deep voice just fine, but you might be missing the birds singing or the beep of the microwave or find you're having trouble understanding the voices of women and children. This is exactly why it can just creep up on you. And the numbers, wow, they really paint a stark picture of just how widespread this is. About a third of folks between 65 and 74 are already dealing with it. And then, once you hit 75, that number skyrockets to nearly half. So this isn't some rare condition. It's a massive public health issue that touches almost every single family, and it sets the stage for the crucial connection we're about to explore. Okay, so we've established what it is and how common it is. Now for what I think is the most critical part of our explainer. This profound, and I mean profound, connection between what our ears hear and how our brain functions. I mean, just listen to this quote from the academic journal, The Gerontologist. It really says it all. This isn't just about hearing anymore. Researchers have drawn a direct line from hearing disability to major health issues. So the bottom line is this: protecting your hearing is a huge part of protecting your brain. And according to the National Institute on Aging, it gets even more specific. Older adults with hearing loss face a significantly higher risk of developing dementia. Think of it this way. Your brain is like a muscle, right? It needs stimulation. And when those auditory pathways aren't being used as much, it can have this domino effect on our cognitive health. And the impact just spreads out in so many ways we wouldn't even think of. First, there's this thing scientists call cognitive overload. Basically, when you can't hear clearly, your brain has to work like crazy just to decode the sounds and fill in the gaps. That pulls mental energy away from other crucial jobs, like memory and thinking. It's exhausting. That strain then often leads to social withdrawal because conversations just become too much work. And get this, it even affects your balance, increasing your risk of falls. Who would have thought? Ultimately, it all comes down to this simple but incredibly powerful idea. When the world around you becomes quieter and conversations start to fade away, the mind itself can become isolated. And that combination of reduced sensory input and social withdrawal is a dangerous recipe for cognitive decline. Now, I know that all might sound pretty alarming, but here is the good news. This is not inevitable. The story does not have to end there. So let's shift gears and get to a more empowering part of this story: what we can actually do to protect and restore our hearing health. And there are concrete, actionable steps we can all take, starting today. Protecting your ears from loud noise is number one. And I'm not just talking about concerts. We're talking lawnmowers, power tools, anything over 85 decibels. Your overall health matters too. Good circulation from a heart-healthy lifestyle, and, big one here, not smoking, that directly supports the delicate little blood vessels in your inner ear, keeping them nourished and working right. For those who already have hearing loss, it is so crucial to fight that outdated stigma.
I mean, technology has come an incredible way. We've gone from those bulky ear trumpets in the 18th century to the first electric aid in 1898, all the way to today's devices, which are basically tiny, powerful computers that can connect right to your smartphone. The landscape of solutions today is broader than ever. You've got prescription aids tailored by an audiologist for any level of loss that can even use AI to intelligently filter out background noise in a crowded room. But the real game changer has been over-the-counter or OTC aids for mild to moderate loss. This has made treatment so much more accessible. And for profound loss, cochlear implants can actually bypass damaged parts of the ear to directly stimulate the auditory nerve. But look, technology is only half the battle. Improving communication is a team sport. This final section has practical tips that everyone can start using right away to make conversations clearer and honestly just way less frustrating for everyone. If you're the one with hearing loss, being open is the first step. Just let people know. Ask them to face you. So much of our communication is visual. And please, don't be afraid to say, hey, can you say that again but in a different way? It empowers you and helps the other person understand what actually works. And if you're talking to someone with hearing loss, these small changes make a huge difference. Face them. Speak clearly, but don't shout. Shouting actually just distorts the sound. If you can, reduce the background noise. Just turn off the TV. And above all, be patient. Rephrasing is often way more helpful than just repeating the same words louder. So after looking at all of this, the takeaway really is this simple. We need to start thinking about our hearing health not in isolation, but as a fundamental pillar of healthy aging. Right up there with diet, exercise, and keeping your mind sharp. It's all connected. Which brings us to our final thought. Our health truly is the sum of all its interconnected parts. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you really listening to what you're hearing, or the hearing of someone you love might be trying to tell you about your overall health? It's something to think about.